I used to live my life without thinking much about the environment. I wasn't reckless. I recycled when I remembered, turned off lights when I left the room, and maybe picked up a piece of litter here and there. But the truth is, I didn't really believe that my small actions mattered in the grand scheme of things. After all, I'm just one person, right? How could my habits possibly affect the world? But then one day, I saw something that changed me forever. I was scrolling through my phone, absent-mindedly watching videos, when I came across an image that stopped me cold. A beautiful sea turtle, tangled in plastic, struggling to breathe. I read the caption, and my heart sank. Millions of marine animals die every year due to plastic pollution. I clicked on the video, and what I saw haunted me. Beaches covered in trash, rivers choked with plastic bottles, forests destroyed for farmland. And suddenly, I felt something I had never felt before. I felt responsible. I realized that the choices I made, that every plastic bag I used, every unnecessary purchase, every time I wasted food or water, contributed to this crisis. And that was the moment I made a decision. I wasn't going to wait for someone else to save the planet. I was going to do my part. At first, I felt overwhelmed. The more I learned, the more I realized just how much damage we were doing to the environment. Every second, a garbage truck's worth of plastic is dumped into the ocean. Every day, 2,7,000 trees are cut down just to make toilet paper. Every year, 8 million tons of plastic end up in our oceans. The numbers were staggering. I could have let those statistics paralyze me, convince me that the problem was too big, too far gone. But instead, I asked myself, if I don't change, who will? And that's when I made my first shift. I started to see the world differently, not as something separate from me, but as something I was deeply connected to. I realized that every product I bought, every piece of trash I threw away, every habit I ignored, had an impact, whether I could see it or not. I started to care. At first, I made small changes. I switched to reusable bags, bottles, and containers. I stopped buying products with excessive plastic packing. I turned off the tap while brushing my teeth, realizing how much water I'd been wasting. I started composting my food scraps instead of throwing them away. These weren't huge world-changing actions, but they were something. And something was better than nothing. The most surprising part, it was easy. I thought sustainable living would be difficult, inconvenient, or expensive. But I quickly learned that many of the changes I was making were actually saving me money and making my life simpler. And then something even more incredible happened. People started noticing. A friend saw me bringing my own coffee cup and asked why. I explained how disposable cups contribute to landfill waste, and the next week she had her own reusable cup too. Another friend saw me refuse a plastic straw and started carrying a reusable one herself. I realized that my small actions weren't just helping the environment, they were inspiring others to take action too. That's when I understood something powerful. Change doesn't happen when one person does everything perfectly. It happens when millions of people do something, even if it's small. The more I learned, the more my mindset shifted. I started questioning everything. Where does my food come from? Where does my food come from? How are my clothes made? What happens to my trash after I throw it away? I learned about fast fashion and how the clothing industry is one of the biggest polluters on the planet. So I stopped supporting brands that didn't care about sustainability and started thrifting instead. The more I learned, the more my mindset shifted. I started questioning everything. I learned about factory farming and its devastating impact on deforestation and water pollution. So I started eating more plant-based meals. I learned that switching to energy-efficient appliances and LED lights could reduce my carbon footprint significantly. So I made those changes too. Every small shift brought me closer to living in alignment with my values. At some point, I realized that individual action, while important, wasn't enough. If I truly wanted to make an impact, I had to go beyond my personal habits. I had to take action in my community. So I started speaking up. I reached out to my local government to push for more recycling programs. I participated in beach and park cleanups. I donated to organizations working to protect forests, oceans, and wildlife. I started using my voice on social media and conversations in everyday interactions to educate others about the importance of environmental awareness. I used to think, I'm just one person, what can I really do? But I now realize that every major change in history started with one person who refused to stay silent. If a single match can start a wildfire, then a single voice can start a movement. So today, I challenge you. Refuse plastic when you can. Reduce waste wherever possible. Educate yourself and others. Support businesses that care about the planet. Speak up for change, because no action is too small and no effort is wasted. The planet doesn't need perfect environmentalists. It needs real people making real changes, one step at a time. So let's start today. Let's be the change. Because when future generations look back at this moment in history, I want them to say, they didn't wait, they took action. And because of them, we still have a world worth living in. This journey of environmental awareness has transformed me. It has changed the way I see the world, the way I live my life, and the way I think about the future. I no longer feel powerless. I no longer feel like just one person who can't make a difference. Because now I understand the truth. I am making a difference, and so can you. It starts with awareness, it leads to action, and together we can create a future that is not just sustainable, but thriving. Let's protect our home. Let's protect our future, because the earth is counting on us, and we will not let it down. This message is for motivational purposes only and does not constitute professional advice.